You can't hear me, right, Shuvo? Good.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everybody. Hi. This is Shuvo here, CEO of Success Dante. So today we have we have in store for you a wonderful speaker, a coach, and you will. There is a surprise guest as well today, and you're in for a treat today, and so we're gonna start in few minutes, right? As soon as we start, we will open the window and come and talk to you. So we will be back in now it's 7:31. So we will be back in. We'll start by 7:34. Okay, another 4 minutes. We'll be back. I will start. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes. And we're back. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Very warm welcome to all of you of our fourth edition of Real Talk with Shuvo. And today I have a very good friend of mine, Jeffrey Pellice, and he's all the way from US. And I have the pleasure to meeting this gentleman in 2018 at one of Tony Robbins' event, and it has been a wonderful journey with him, and he has gone through a lot of transformation when it comes to of his own life, and he has supported me with his in so many ways, and he has had a lot of positive impact in my life as well. And we do have a surprise guest today, which you will meet very soon. So without further ado, let me introduce Jeffrey. So Jeffrey is a coach, is a life coach, and he has his own company named Strategic Hospitality Solution, and Jeffrey is the senior leader of Tony Robbins' team, right? And apart from that, this gentleman is a wonderful individual and an amazing person who loves to help others, and that's where we met. I'm so grateful that I have met Jeffrey in my life, and you know, in our real talk with Shuvo, I always bring my friends who have supported me to grow, and Jeffrey is one of them. And I'm happy to say that I have another friend of mine, Sayan, and he's also watching today. He was our uh, first first guest in our group. So I'm very glad that he's also here. But apart from that, Jeffrey has been a major influence in my life, and I wanted to share with you that how Jeffrey has influenced my life, so that he can share it with all of you. That how it has how all of you the learning from Tony's event and other so many events, and today and these days we are having a lot of uncertainty, and that is the point of having this talk, whereby we when how to get certainty at the point of uncertainty, and that's why we are bringing in different speakers from different industries and share their view. So today we have Jeffrey with us, right? And Jeffrey, welcome to the show. We're very happy to have you, and thank you for your time. I know the time zone is totally different. The place you are in, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're here at 7:30, right? But we're very glad that you're here with us. So Jeffrey, I know I have mentioned about what you do and what you work, but I would suggest if you can explain a bit what you actually really focus on and what you do, and then we can start off from there. Over to you, Jeffrey.
Absolutely. So I happen to be a peak performance strategist. And as simple as I can make that is I work with people in business and on their relationships to focus on their communication development.
Communication development. Okay, so you're the communication master. Okay, great. Thank you. So Jeffrey, the first question, right? Here it goes. Okay, given this present situation, how can we look at the positive side of life? How can we look at it?
Okay, so everything we do in life or how we react is based on two things. It's based on the education that we receive and then the conditioning that we have, which gives what we call our model of the world. And in layman's terms, it happens to be called perception. What you focus on is what you most often receive. And for that is something, as we had discussed earlier, is something called the triad. So I'm going to hop in here. We'll do a quick screen share for those people who love to look at PowerPoints. Give me 1 second here.
So this triad is, it will help us to focus on the positive side of life. So you're going to explain that. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so if everybody can see my screen, it's very simple. So in the beginning is something that we happen to, it's called state. And the state is just a very simple way of saying it's a condition at a particular time. So if we were to look at water, water in its state is fluid. When water happens to be frozen, it's called ice. When water is extremely hot, above, I think it's 100 Celsius where you happen to be, it turns into a gas. And so that's something that's one item that happens to be in two different states. So we start with the first one, which is called physiology. And if you think back to a time where you may possibly have been sad or depressed, the position of your body, your head most likely would be down. Your facial expression, your eyes would be up or down, they would be down. Your mouth would be down and looking sad. Your shoulders would be down. Your back, you would be hunched over. And now I'm gonna go ahead and shake that out. And if I think about a time where I'm happy or I happen to be excited, my head is gonna be up, My eyes are going to be straight or they're going to be up. I'm going to be smiling or my mouth is going to be open. My shoulders will be tall and back. I'll be standing up straight. And that is about physiology. So state management has two sides. So you have an unhappiness, which is a state, and then you have a happy state. So there's more than one side to it.
So, so what you're saying is that when you're in a bad state, your shoulders will be droopy, head will be down, you will be breathing heavily, right? And when you're in a happy state, your shoulders will be up, and then you will be breathing lightly, and there will be a smile on your face, obviously, right? So that's how you define what do you call it, good state and a bad state, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how does it relate to positive side of the life? Then how do you relate to that?
Excellent. So that's a great question. So honestly, nothing in life comes easy. As you and I know, both as parents and as husbands, most require some form of focus. So most of us learn how to operate some type of vehicle, whether it's a bicycle, a car, a truck, or a lorry, as they happen to call it over there. And then once we master that, we start to add more things to it. For example, all right, now driving is easy. Now I'm going to start focusing on other things. Now I need to focus on the pedestrians in the road, vehicles, other things in the environment that are constantly moving as well, and to ensure that we don't interact with them. And often we're going to test ourselves by multitasking because we think we're good, not only driving by watching everything else, by playing with the radio, having something to drink, eating some food. Some people choose to smoke, some people put makeup on. To be clear, I don't put makeup on. All these things require more focus. And that happens to be the second part of the triad. So for example, if I invite you and your guests to look around the environment where you are and count how many objects that happen to be in your environment that are white, only white, and not tan and not yellow, and put that item in the window. So if everybody would just go ahead into the chat section, just put that number into the window of how many items you count in the room that happen to be white.
So you want the audience to see the white, whatever in the room is white, and then count and put it in on the chat box.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, please look at around your room, whatever you see in white color. See how many things you have in white color in your room. Put that in the chat box. How many things you have? I have the light here on my face. So Jeffrey, I have 5 things in my room, in the room I can see, which is white color, right? So people who have just joined, just to recap, we are here with Jeffrey, and so we are, and he's showing us how to focus on the positive side of life, and he's showing us a model how to do it, and which is first to manage your state first. The way to do it is do the physical change first, and we are talking about the focus right now. So so what he asked the question that how many things you see in the room, which is white color. So I have, I can see 5 things. So if the audience can type in how many things you see in white in the room. How many things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you see? Yeah. Yes. Counting once, counting twice. Okay. Okay. Simon said he sees his wall and his T-shirt is white, and dongle. The dongle he's using is white. Okay. And then Dulmi is saying that she's seeing 10 things white in her room, and Chamira is saying, "Hi Shuvo, thank you for this." Okay, so those are the engagements we are getting. So yeah, so that's what they're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so so the point of sharing that is we're all focused on something. So I currently have 11, and thank you for the reference about the dongle. I forgot about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a real quick video that was shown to me years ago in one of my trainings, and there's going to be some people playing basketball and some people wearing white shirts and other people as well. And the focus I'm asking or inviting everybody to do is to focus on only those people passing a white basketball. And so each time a person in a white shirt passes a basketball and they connect with another person wearing a white shirt, that counts as a pass. So you're going to count the total amount of passes between people in white shirts. Okay?
Only the white shirt, right? So ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey's going to show a video, focus on the white shirt individuals there. How many times they pass the ball to each other? Just look at it, and after that, we will ask you to type it on your chat box. How many times they have passed the ball? We'll ask you that. Okay, great. Let's play the video.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball.
So only the white shirts is what we're counting. All the white shirts, who's passing the basketball back and forth?
How many passes did you count?
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
So Shuvo
I
counted yesterday.
So I counted. I actually counted more now. So it's 13. I've seen 13 passes.
Great. Excellent.
So how about you guys? How many you saw? How many passes you saw? Yeah. Okay, Simon said he saw 10 passes.
Wow. That's high. Awesome.
Okay. Dulmi saw 12. Okay, Shabira said he saw 15 passes.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't see 15 until today.
Okay, Baha Vitaran, he said he sees 14 passes. Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay, so on to our next slide.
We have one more. Yeah,
Oh,
Indra said she she's seen 15 passes. Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations. Okay.
Awesome audience, no, Jeffrey?
Those are some high numbers. I think the first time I counted, I saw 5.
Okay.
So here's the second half of the video.
The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla?
Go Indra and Shabira.
So the whole purpose of that is the question comes down to, did anybody see the gorilla?
Yes, I saw it because I saw it yesterday. That's why.
Yeah, and I'll admit the first time when somebody played the video for me, I did not see the gorilla. And then when they showed this, I thought somebody tricked me. I was upset. I was angry. I thought somebody was playing me. And the reason for that is because I felt as though I didn't have control over my own environment for me to feel safe.
So Jeffrey, let's ask the audience. So how many of you saw the gorilla? Because yesterday when I was going through the video, I didn't see the gorilla at all. And then when Jeffrey mentioned, only later on I realized, hey, there is a gorilla. And it was slow motion. So how many of you realized that there was a gorilla walking in between passing the balls? Yeah? Did anyone saw the gorilla? Okay. Bhavitaran said that he didn't see. So he didn't see the gorilla. No. Okay, great. Anybody else? Anybody else who saw the gorilla? Notice that there is a gorilla. Okay, Sujit said he has seen the gorilla. Yes, okay. Good. Okay, Dulmi said no, he hasn't. Okay. Sadness said he never saw the gorilla. Yes, right.
And that's okay. And
Yeah.
the reason we bring this up is because what you focus on is what you get. And I'm
Right.
sure, we've had that where you and I have been in a room someplace and like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go get this in the other room. And I go to the other room. What the heck did I come in here for? I don't remember. And you have to go back to what you were doing. And then you remember, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to go get a cup of sugar. I needed to go call this person. So that is called focus. When you're absolutely focused on something, that's what you end up getting. So it's okay you didn't see the gorilla the first time. However, you saw the gorilla the second time is because we invited you not to see just white. And we said, now we want you to look for a gorilla. And then that's when the gorilla came up. So in regards to the triad, news happens to be information, which is part of the reason why you and I are having this conversation, is that news is everywhere if you choose. And the delivery of the news is really the concern. It's how the news has to sensationalize everything to keep people watching television or listening to the radio because they have advertising to sell, because they need to make money. So I pay attention to the news. I happen to be an audio-based person, so I actually will just read the news on my phone. And when I start seeing descriptive words, I just move through it very quickly just for me to get the information that I need in order for me to feel safe in today's world. And the simplest way I can explain that would be, if your house is on fire, are you going to go in and get everything? Are you going to get the things that are unimportant, or are you going to get the things that are most important? And most people in today's society, I would hallucinate, or run inside, they're going to grab computers, telephones, photographs, anything that has emotional value to them. They're not going to worry about the couch that they bought last week. That's the concern there. So the last part of this happens to be language. And we all have internal and external dialogue, such as, oh, there's a time before where I did something like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. The reason is because we were not focused. And so the simplest one I have of internal language was from a book that I read when I was a child. This honestly, my favorite book, I wore it out. It was called The Little Engine That Could. It's simply a story about a passenger train that was invited to carry freight from one side of the mountain to the other side of the mountain. And the next page, or from an excerpt of the book, the engine just says to itself, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And it builds speed and gets up over the mountain and gets to the other side, and it's able to deliver toys and everything to the kids on the other side. So that is the power of the internal dialogue, and that's the positive side. My next share would be, if you've seen this, or at least here in the States, this is something that's somewhat popular, is it comes down to, which wolf do you feed? If you happen to feed the one that's positive, you're going to have a much more fruitful and happier life. And you also have the choice of feeding something that's not as positive as well.
So to summarize that, Jeffrey, so if you go back to the triads, if you go to the, so to summarize that, is it correct to say that, so you have to have a radical move on your physiology to build your state, like increase your energy, and focus on the positive side of the situation, and focus on the positive language. When these three come together, then you are able to focus on the positive side of your life. Am I correct?
That is correct. And it doesn't have to be completely radical. If you look at the people that meditate, they're not actually doing any massive radical motions. They happen to have mastered it to the point where they can be at peace, and they can just focus, they can tune out anything that's going on externally and focus on their breath and focus on whatever it is that their intent happens to be. And the same thing is, another word would be prayer as well.
So coming inside out, that's what you're saying, right? So internally.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. So that always works, coming inside out. Okay. So that's about triad. So this is a very, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very powerful model. If you day in, day out practice this, it will definitely help you to build on your positive side of life. Anything you do in life, if you focus on this area, next time you feel down, you intentionally get yourself, you move about or stand up, and get yourself in a positive energy. Usually, when we physically move, then you get that energy, and then you focus on the positive side. I'm sure, okay, you can say, Shuvo, there is no positive side, what I'm looking at, but I'm sure there will be one positive side. Focus on that, like the video, what we focus on. Focus on that, and with a positive language. At the end of the day, we are the one who's having our internal dialogue. So there's a devil in us, there is an angel in us. So what we want to listen, what language we want to listen to. So when you focus on these three, and when these three come together, definitely it will help you to manage your state and have a positive outcome. Okay, next question, Jeffrey. What is a positive state? What is a beautiful state? What do you mean by beautiful state? There is something recently we have gone for this training. So yeah, would you like to share with us what is a positive state?
Sure. Everybody has their own
beautiful state. Sorry.
Yes, sure. So everybody has their own version of what a beautiful state is. It could be an attitude. It could be you're doing things for people. It could be joy of watching people. It could be joy of doing something. It's different for every single person. There is no right answer. For myself, my beautiful state is being grateful, loving, and being able to contribute to others.
So that means when you say that, that means you choose to be like that, is it?
Yeah, correct. It's a choice. It doesn't mean that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, that one question comes up. So with so much of negativity around, how do you choose to be grateful all the time? How can that happen?
Sure. And the easiest way is I can just refer back to the gorilla video. It's what you focus on. So if I am not focused, I'm going to see the gorilla. I'm going to be counting the people with the black shirts, and there's honestly so many things that are going on. The easiest for me to do is for me to focus on one thing and what's easy for me. It doesn't, like we talked about before, learning how to drive. It necessarily is not easy the first time. It takes some coaching. It takes some invitation. It takes having a support person that is there, that believes in you more than you believe in yourself, to assist you with what your outcome happens to be.
Great. So Jeffrey, so Tony says that your past doesn't equal to your future, right? He believes in that. He always says that. So how Tony's environment, I know you're one of the senior leader of and a very active leader with Tony's team. So how Tony's environment has helped you?
Yeah,
to
for
grow
me,
yourself?
I had an opportunity to go after a very dark and unserving marriage in which I needed to be able to regain who I was, for me to be able to be the best father and the best person moving forward afterwards. We have an event, or Tony has an event called Date with Destiny, and it's a 6-day event. It takes place in the United States and Florida, and also takes place in Australia. Unsure about I would give you the dates and everything. However, with everything going on, we're unsure about when events are taking place. So one particular event, Date with Destiny, is truly about connecting more deeply with yourself and your partner. And at that point, I was not in a relationship and decided I wanted to be able to move forward and have a relationship with somebody to be a great example to our children, because they're not just mine. There happens to be somebody else involved. And, I decided, it's time for me to design who my ideal partner is and how I would attract them, me being authentic and who I happen to be. And it came down to one thing I understood is, if you want to be desired by somebody else, you must be desirable. Because if you're not desirable to yourself, nobody else is going to desire you. And so one evening we happened to be writing, we're invited by the person who's running the conference to write a letter to ourselves of commitment. Go ahead.
So this is happening in Date with Destiny, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so it's okay. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so this is something that outside the event, we do things like this as well. So we're asked to write a letter to ourselves that they will send back to us in about 6 months. And basically, it's a love letter to yourself. And then they also ask you to write a love letter to your partner. And so we're all given paper and envelopes, and we sit down and I begin writing the letter to myself. And after about 2 or 4 minutes, some people get up and they're leaving. I'm like, how on earth did you write 2 letters so fast? And there's some people that said, well, I'm not in a relationship. And they got up and they left. And I really pondered that at the moment. I thought, you know what? What if I was in a relationship? What would I write? What would be the emotions that I want to share with that person in that moment? And so what I'll do is, so this was December 2014, about 5.5 years ago. And so what I'll do is I'll share the letter that I had written while I was single, not in a relationship, and had not met anybody. And here's that letter. I'll read it out loud to everybody here. And so basically I type things because my handwriting is not that great. When I would write birthday cards to my kids, they'd be like, oh, Dad, this is nice. What does this say? What does this say? And so that's the reason why I typed it. So this is actually the forward of the email.
Got it. Yeah. Right. I also get that sometimes from my daughters. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
another
what was the
language.
letter?
Yeah. Okay. So in short, it's to you. I've been waiting to put a log on a fire at every event for years. This act of love was done because I have been in love with you. Go ahead.
Jeffrey, one thing. Yeah, audience. Right after this, the surprise guest will appear. Right. So be with us. Okay. Just Jeffrey, go ahead. Over to you. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So I've been putting a log on a fire at every event for years. This act of love was done because I have been in love with you since before we met. And I lost hope a long time ago, and then I found it. I didn't realize that 2 to 3 times a year, putting a log on and expecting it to last until the next event. It doesn't. Fire, like love, needs to be tended to daily. Today, I put a name on the log in my heart. I fan the flames, give the fuel it needs at the right time, and also be able to sit back and admire the beauty of it. A man multitasking. It isn't easy to write a letter in advance to someone I never met, yet I still have known you. I know that in order for me to give you this letter, that you are in love with me and also completely in love with my children. I don't know if you have children, but I know that if you do, I will love them unconditionally like my own, and that I will die for them also. I love you with every bit of masculinity and femininity, lightness and darkness that I have. I commit to you today and from this day forward to be all that you need, plus a little more, and to do this every day. You have touched the essence of my soul. You own it. And with permission, I want to own yours. Will you be my life and soul partner? Jeffrey. So basically what I had done is I wrote a letter of asking somebody to marry me that I had never even met before. And I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. However,
So right after this, what happened after that? When you write this, when you finish Date with Destiny, what happened?
Yeah, then here we go. I'm not sure if you can see us on this side.
Yes, we can see.
So 2 weeks later, somebody came into my life, and this is this person. And this is my beautiful and amazing wife, Nimali.
Nimali. So Nimali, where are you from?
I'm from Sri Lanka.
Awesome, nice. After 2 weeks of this happening, Date with Destiny. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the surprise guest for who we are talking about. So Nimali is from Sri Lanka. So even though Jeffrey is from US, his heart belongs to Sri Lanka. And it's an amazing to see how you meet people, how coincidence can change your life and transform your life. And these two lovebirds has decided. How long you have gone out before marriage? How many years?
Up to now, it will be more than 5 years.
5 years. Okay, altogether 5 years. But you guys got married recently, right? Last year? You got married last year, right?
Yeah, about 16 months now.
16 months, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, so this is what is possible when you want to relate to yourself, to your higher self. So anything is possible. So in this case, Nimali showed up because of that letter what Jeffrey has written, and he has attracted Nimali in his life. Thank you, Nimali, for joining us. So which part of Sri Lanka you're from?
Well, I have family in Colombo, Ratnapura, and Gaul.
Okay. Ratnapura and Gaul. Okay. So what are you doing in the US?
Currently, I'm working on a project to create a mastermind or a workshop from both of us, guiding singles and couples in finding their happily ever after like we did.
Awesome. Nice. Okay. So my next question. So how it has been before marriage and after marriage? How was it? It has been?
It's been, honestly, it's been really amazing. Like my growth has gone up exponentially, and the biggest difference for me was when Jeffrey gifted me a Date with Destiny tickets on my birthday. And when I went to the event, I realized that I was mostly in my masculine energy, which is, you probably might understand if I say some women act like they're a man and they're tough and they don't need any help. I was that kind of person. And I realized that that was not the real me. And I aligned with my true self, which is my happy feminine self, where I love to create things and I feel more powerful in that self because I'm my true self. And because I switched to my feminine side, Jeffrey was able to step into his strong masculine side, which helped me feel safe and helped me feel like I can do anything. It's been so amazing.
Got it. Brilliant. So how it has been together with Jeffrey? How that has been after marriage?
There are times where even though it's like 5 years, there are times that I feel like I can't believe how lucky I am to have him in my life, and it feels so magical. And then sure, there are times where I feel like maybe I'm like drive him crazy sometimes. But most of the time I feel like I can't believe I have so much love for this person, even after 5 years, and we are so playful and we joke with each other and we have such great times. And that's what I would love for everybody else to have in this world, that type of happiness and spontaneity and sense of adventure and fun and playing jokes and stuff, even 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into your marriage. That would be so amazing.
Awesome. So Jeffrey, how it has been with you?
Great. Yeah, she had the things that she left out is she said, in order for us to be in a relationship, you have to commit to be with me for 100 years. I'm like,
awesome.
Maybe on life support. Yeah, okay.
Maybe on life support.
Yeah.
But you visited Sri Lanka, right? 2018, you were here, right? So then that's
correct. Yes.
right after UPW. Yeah. So that's also a big coincidence how we met. Yeah.
So it was a great thing. We met in Singapore. There was about 14,000 people that were there, and somebody actually invited me. Said, "Hey, we're looking for this person," and they showed me a picture, and I'm like, "Okay, there's 14,000 people here. Sure, not a problem. I'll find that person." And 10 minutes later, I'm looking. You walk in my direction to ask me a question, and I'm answering your question. I'm like, "Is this you?" Like, yeah, why do you have because I went to Facebook to find a picture of you, and I'm like, why do you have a picture of my family on your phone? I don't even remember what it was. And so this again comes down to the power of focus. My focus was on finding this person out of 14,000 people. Again, there was a person who lost their passport.
14,000
people, and they're from China, I believe.
Yeah.
And I just walked through and that room, and because I'm in Asia, and this is just my model of the world, then I had to get out of that model. It's like, okay, I'm going to find this person. I just walk up to this person. I'm like, I couldn't even, whatever the person's name is, it's written in characters. And I'm like, is this you? And like, oh my God, this is this person. Because they would not have been able to go home the next day. It was the last day of the event. So again, power focus. So how was everything for me? Everything is great. And like she said, life is not without challenges. It happens to be what you focus on is what you get. And we have an agreement that if one of us is not in a happy state, we'll say to the other person, like, no, sorry, I was in an unhappy state first. You have to be in a positive state because I was here first. When I'm done with it, then if you want to, you can be unhappy. So it ends up being, and this is part of that playfulness. And so I learned that from one of my leaders as well.
Awesome. Great. Actually, I was looking for James, another leader. Then I walked up to you and I was talking to you. Then it happens to be, okay, it clicked and then the rest is history. Now we are talking here. Okay, Jeffrey, we have a question from Sandon. So he's saying that when you go to work with such a good mood, and when a key influential person spoil your mood, either directly or with a telephone call, what's the key point to focus to maintain the cool and stay positive? And most importantly, continuously remain happy for the day.
Okay, that's a great question. So my question would be back to them is it's going to depend on how much of an impact that person happens to have in your life. If it happens to be somebody that I happen to meet like in a grocery store, and be like, oh, I'm really sorry that they're having a really horrible day. I hope their day gets better. If it happens to be my boss, or if it happens to be my partner or one of our children, then I'd be like, okay, maybe they just need a couple of minutes. Maybe they just need a vent. And there's something in our environment called a crazy eight. And so the eight goes this way like this, and and so on this side, the crazy eight happens to be people that are upset and angry. And then they go to this side in which they're sad and depressed, and then they constantly move back and forth. And so when they get into the middle of the eight between the two circles, that's where we go and we invite them to step out. And so I've been called the master of state change, such as I'll make a joke or something, which will completely throw them off guard. And then that pulls them out. Then I'll like say, hey, what's going on? So it's the power of influence. You choose to have somebody influence you, or do you choose to influence others? And I know that when it comes down to employment, we have people that are inviting to influence us. However, we have a choice about who we are in the moment and how we react. It doesn't mean that we have to stay working in that position or in that area for any amount of time. It's called, we don't have time to go through the 6 needs. It's also called growth.
So what you're saying is that that to focus. So what Simon is asking is that, so what area to focus on, right? What he should focus on, that which will have a state change in him. That's what we want to do.
Okay, excellent. So thanks for the reframe. So I'll bring up the gorilla video that we had seen. Not only were there people wearing white shirts, there were black shirts, there were elevators, there was a certain number of basketballs, there were color of jeans, there was hair color, there was skin tone color. There are a lot of other things that are going on in that. So if you focus on something else, and let's say this gorilla video is used as an example, there's a lot of things going on in life right now. There's things going on outside the environment where you and I happen to be. And unless some of them come into the environment, then we'll interact with them. Otherwise, just focus on something different. Maybe you need to get up and walk away. Maybe you need to invite that person for a quick redirect and say, I don't understand what the problem is. One of the easiest things to make a state change is to give that person a glass of water to drink. That's the easiest thing to do. And you'll see when you're having a conversation with somebody, with the exception of them being dehydrated or they're working out, if you're having a conversation with somebody and it's not going well and they pick up a glass of water or some beverage to drink, that is their way of attempting to diffuse the situation and to take a break from what you happen to be saying, and realize that you do that to people as well. I notice it when it's like, hey, I'm thirsty. I'm not trying to ignore you. I need to get some water. So give me 1 second and then let's restart our conversation.
Okay, so if the person is around, you can give a glass of water. But what if he's doing it over the phone? What do you do?
Right in here. That's the power of focus. It's also the power of language in regards to how am I going to think about this specifically. So am I gonna, whatever the conversation is, person is upset, they're not happy with you, they're not happy with something that's going on externally. The question is, what is the
All feedback is not personal.
exactly. I love this woman. She knows exactly what I'm thinking.
What's that, Dimali? What's that? Repeat that.
All feedback is not personal. That's the
Okay.
line I tell myself when I meet somebody who is upset. In the past, I would think, okay, it's because of something I did wrong, and I would get, nervous and I would be flustered. But now I have this sentence that goes in my mind that I tell myself, okay, this person is angry. Let's say it's my father and he's upset with me and he's on the phone. And now I'm telling myself, okay, all feedback is not personal. Maybe Tata is upset about something that has nothing to do with me. And so that creates compassion and love for that person.
And realize it works the other way too, in regards to if you're having a conversation with somebody, and many of us happen to be on here, happen to run our own businesses, and or let's say at home, let's say your child happens to spill something or drop something on the floor, we don't attack them personally like, hey, it's okay, we make mistakes, it's all right, it's fine, don't worry about it. If you have an employee that you happen to work for and they're doing something such as they're taking merchandise or whatever, it's like, the reason why I've got to release you from our business is because you made some very poor business decisions. I think you're a great person. However, in regards to your business decisions or what you've decided to do has affected our business and our brand. And unfortunately, I don't have a position for you at the moment. However, if you decide to move forward into some other place and work there for a year or two, and they give me some great references and you've changed your focus and you've changed your behaviors, then I would consider bringing you back on. Otherwise, until then, I have to part with you as a business associate. So it works both ways.
Okay. Right. So how would you describe it? What Sandon can utilize the physiology, focus, and language? What kind of physiology he can have, or what focus, and what would be the language he should speak? If you are put in that model, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be a combination between their person's focus and their language. And in order to bring all three together, you need the physiology. So if I happen to be sitting in the chair, if I happen to be Simon and somebody's having a conversation with me, and I'm sitting down on the telephone and I'm not happy, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get up. I'm going to start walking around. If I'm in a darker room, I'm going to attempt to look outside, look up at the light, look up, because that's going to start changing the power of my focus. Otherwise, if I'm on the phone like this, I'm like, oh, okay. Remember we talked about the physiology. You want to bring yourself up.
That's the physiology, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And a lot of us just naturally, unfortunately, happen to be holding a device and we're looking down. This thing is not that heavy, and you and I are about the same age, and we used to have these heavy phones that were weapons that we'd have to pick up, and the handsets were incredibly heavy, and it had a cord that came out of the wall and stuff like that. So those things were much heavier, and we're sitting there like this, and our parents would say, posture, 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 posture. So yeah.
So rather than doing like this, do a positive, then how about the focus? What should be the focus?
Yeah, the focus is, it depends on what the conversation that is taking place with Simon. Is the person, their employer, are they upset because Simon got to work 2 minutes late? Is it because he, I have no idea what it really is going to come down to the next part is in regards to the focus. What does he want to feel? Does he want it is, like Namali had said, is this personal or is it business? Like, you know something? He's right. I was 2 minutes late. And I'm going to now set my alarm on my phone or my clock or whatever to make sure I'm going to attempt to get now 5 minutes earlier, whatever it happens to be. So.
And language, when it's a language, what he should tell himself.
Exactly. You know, like Namali said, all feedback is not personal. If it happens to be personal, then that comes down to what I talked about earlier in regards to education and conditioning. Part of our 6 needs is the invitation to grow. And if this person that's giving Simon some information, is it mean that he needs to grow a little bit more? It's like, oh, you know something? When was the last time you said the phrase, the following phrase to somebody? It's like, you know something? I didn't know that. Or I just learned something. And I'm not sure if I happen to be running the meeting or here we go. Shuvo's coming back online. There we go. We gotcha.
And we're back. Hello.
So you had your glass of water, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. So what was the language we mentioned? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. After listening to that. No, it's just a technical difficulty. It's just line just dropped.
So
Glad
that
we're
was a
back.
perfect
Yes.
example of
Okay.
state change.
Yes, it had, yes. Right. So what would be the language, Jeffrey, you should use?
So the language, so it's a combination between their physiology, get up, move around. Next is to focus. What do they want to feel? And the language, what are they going to tell themselves? As Namali had shared, all feedback is not personal. And if it happens to be something that's personal because they were late or they had done something unknowingly to receive the education and to decide, you know something, is this something that's important to me? Is it, we use the example of being 2 minutes late. Is it important for him to be on time? Okay, yeah, you know, it's important. I'm going to show up 2 minutes earlier.
Right.
Maybe it's not important. Like, you know, something that happens to be your opinion that you want me to be there 2 minutes early. However, I'm comfortable being here 2 minutes late. And then you can just dismiss it because it doesn't mean that anybody you're having a conversation with is always right, because we have relationships with people that are giving them their point of view, their model of their world, their perception. It just happens to be their perception. It doesn't necessarily mean that it happens to be right. It just happens to be their view. And there are times that we'll have a discussion and say, you know something, I understand, I appreciate what you're talking about. However, I disagree. I love you. And I choose to disagree with you respectfully that you think my shirt happens to be brown. And I'm like, no, it's actually dark tan. She was telling me yesterday, wear your brown sweater. I'm like, I don't have a brown sweater. And she brought this to me. I'm like, okay, that's not brown.
Was it a real conversation we just shared?
It's very simple. I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand what she thinks brown is.
Right. So, so Jeff, to summarize it, so the way to use triad is, so have a radical change in the physiology intentionally, right? When you're talking on the phone, or so probably if you're talking in front, maybe you can get up and move around. that will give a state change. And then focus on the positive side of the conversation, even though there is not, but look for a positive side of the conversation. And most importantly, what are you telling yourself internally, which is very important, that all feedbacks are not bad, right? That's what Diwali is mentioning. So when you combine together, definitely they will have a better result at the end of the day. Great. Okay, next question. Next question from Hasini. Okay, she's asking, how can you not let the environment take over you? How can you not let the environment take over you?
Yeah, and I would end up answer. So if she's talking about environment, so
at present, I think
that's more physiology.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if it's the environment, then my invitation would be using her physiology and to go into a different environment. So if I happen to be in an area where I've got some people that are talking or they've got music on and I can't focus on what it is that I need to get done, then I will physiologically, I will get up and remove myself from that environment to go someplace and be able to work in some place that happens to be different. It would be no different than attempting to sleep with the lights on. You know, is there something in the environment that is within your control? So if I happen to be she's working late and I happen to go to bed early, and the lights are on, well, I've got a couple choices. I can shut the lights off and see if she can work while the lights happen to be off, or then what I'll do is I'll go into the other room and lay down.
Okay, so physiology. Okay, use your physiology. I will tell her that. I will remind her when I see her next.
Okay.
Okay, great. So Jeffrey, we're almost at. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, you can go ahead and ask. We have been we're with Jeffrey over here. Jeffrey and Nimali from Sri Lanka. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask. It's the positive side of life. Jeffrey just shared a very powerful model of how to manage, how to focus on the positive side of life any given time. It's a triad model, and we are discussing on that. So if you have any question regarding anything, regarding how to have a positive life, you can go ahead and ask. Otherwise, Jeffrey, I have a question.
Sure.
So when you guys are coming back to Sri Lanka?
That is a great question. Well, apparently there's no planes flying into Sri Lanka at all, so it's not going to be
at the moment. Yeah. Yeah.
And the United States is open as well, so we do not have a specific time yet. Unfortunately, we missed New Year's, I guess a couple weeks ago. So we had New Year's by phone with family over there, and we had our own celebration of New Year's here.
Okay, great. Okay. So probably we'll see you soon, I guess, when this is over.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, this will be probably my last question. So
Sure.
Jeffrey, how to give certainty in the time of uncertainty at this point? How to give certainty in the time of uncertainty?
Yeah, and so it all comes down to being a choice. And for myself, it's making the best choice you can for as many people that you have influence over. It's not about who you are, it's about who you decide to become in the moment. Do you allow the person that's attempting to influence you with some negative behaviors, allow them to influence you? If you and I are both parents, and if one of our children is upset and having a tantrum on the floor, does that mean I'm going to have a tantrum as well? Or do I choose not to allow them to influence my state? I'm like, okay, I see that you're unhappy right now. Why don't you take a couple minutes, and when you're ready, you can come back and sit down and we can eat dinner, or we can have a conversation or work on your homework or whatever it happens to be.
Is he actually like that, Nimali? what you said just now?
Most of the time, yes, yes.
Okay, I don't know how you keep how you keep your how you're so calm and composed, Jeffrey, all the time. How do you keep yourself beautiful state all the time? I know it's not easy, but great job. So Nimali, question to you. So how would you describe the coming future? What is coming towards us? How would you say that? How would you describe that? How do you see the future?
I see the future as the future that I can influence. I cannot influence what's going to happen in the future, but I can choose to make it full of love and happiness and hope. And my motto is to never give up in what my outcomes for life is. Loving this man and giving as much as I can before our time in this world is done. That's what I'm focusing on, and it's going to be amazing.
Awesome. Great. Awesome. Because you choose to. Okay, got it. Okay, great. So Jeffrey and Nimali, thank you very much for your time. And I know it's not easy, but both of you are here and shared your thoughts, and you gave. And I love the triad what you shared, Jeffrey. And I myself personally, I use it as well. So and in fact, Nimali has helped me to understand the triad as well at one point. So I just wanted to share it with my friends and the audience, which you did, and thank you so much for sharing that. And I wish both of you amazing life, awesome, brilliant, outstanding life ahead, and love you both. And to my audience, thank you very much. This has been a wonderful experience, and this is for us. And I would like to thank all of you for being here and let us serve you for last 1 hour, and then with our learning and help you to grow. I'm sure what Jeffrey and Nimali have shared has had a very positive impact, and look forward to seeing you back in our next program, next Real Talk with Shuvo, and we're going to talk about lifestyle, and we're going to get a yoga master to come, and she's quite popular, and so she's going to be with us next Monday, and she's going to talk about how yoga can improve your lifestyle, right? So that'll be the topic we're going to talk. So before we finish, Jeffrey, would you like to share your email addresses to the audience?
That would be great.
So that if they have.
Yeah, if anybody has any further questions, we also do, currently online trainings because we can't do it in person. And so let's see, here is, you can reach out to either one of us, Nimali at followingcourage.com, which is the name of her business. And she invited me to join her in her company. And so it's Jeffrey at followingcourage.com. So for any further questions on positive state, on happiness, questions that we weren't able to get to because people are watching this on video afterwards, please don't hesitate in reaching out to Nimali, Shuvo, or myself. And so Thank you so much for the States. We love and appreciate you for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So as Tony Robbins says, one simple decision can change your destiny. So we decided to go to UBW, meet Jeffrey, and all the decision has brought us to here. So you made a decision, my audience, to come and attend our Real Talk with Shuvo today. And from here, I'm sure if you take action, what Jeffrey has shared, that triad, start practicing it, that simple one decision will definitely, I give you the certainty, it will definitely impact and change your destiny. With that, Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye. See you. Bye.